was the one who started very early automation of their operations with Indian custom EDI system, ICES, connecting all major custom offices in the country. They also have a gateway called IceGate to interface with ICES as well as with the external world. They also offer and then run a risk management system to ensure the compliances of their activities of the entire custom operations. I'm sure that they will be throwing lights on the use of AI and blockchain in their operations, in custom operations. We also have many other senior officers from state governments, from academia, from industry, who will be throwing light on the use cases of AI and emerging technologies, how they can be used not only in supply chain, but in other areas. The panel discussions which we have planned for today definitely going to highlight all this. So I am very thankful that we have some of the very eminent speakers today, including Mr. P.N. Pandeyji, who is Additional Director General in Directorate of Analytics and Risk Management with the Customs. Then Akhilesh Pandeyji, again Additional Director General with Express Cargo Clearance System. Then we have Nantha Kumar Govind Sami, Director International Trade Policy. Then we have Mr. P.J. Narayanan, who is Director IIIT Hyderabad. Santosh Kumar Mishra ji, I sir need no introduction. He has been instrumental in automating many things in the state of Tamil Nadu, and that too using emerging technologies like AI and blockchain. Mr. Amit Bala Ratnam, AGM in EICI Systems Mumbai. Vasudevan Raja Gopalanji, DHL Courier Mumbai. Arvind Gupta ji, founding member iSplit. Professor Bhiksha Raj, Professor Carnegie Mellon University. So welcome, sir. Welcome to all the eminent speakers. And we are very thankful to you for joining in for today's session. And we are hopeful that the session will be very, very interactive and useful for all senior officers. A lot of senior officers from central government, state government are participating in today's session. And it will be very we hope that it is going to be very beneficial to them, and as well as help them to see that some of the ideas discussed today, some of the ideas given by you, we could in the government, these officers will be able to use in their ongoing projects and programs. So with these words, I again thank everyone and hand it over back to Swati. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. I'd now like to invite Mr. Pashupati Nath Pandey to provide the keynote for today's session. Sir, you're a 1994 IRS officer batch, currently working as Additional Director General at the National Customs Targeting Center at Directorate General of Analytics and Risk Management. You're heading Indian Customs Targeting Risk Management and Data Analytics Center. In your vast career spanning over 25 years, you've held several positions at strategic and managerial levels in the Government of India, the Consulate General of India, and the World Customs Organization. You've extensively worked in various areas such as customs reforms and modernization, trade facilitation, e-commerce, data analytics, and supply chain security. Over to you, sir. Can't wait. So I think you're on mute right now. You have to unmute.
Thanks, Swati. Thanks for the introduction. And I see Abhishek Singh is also here. So thanks for the invite. So President CEO of NAGD, Mr. Meena, and all of the key speakers, distinguished participants, very good morning to all of you. I must compliment NAGD along with its partners, Intel and UNDP, for running this series of webinars topics. It's my great pleasure to speak to you on one of the important topics this morning with regard to the use of AI/ML and blockchain in and the supply chain management, both from the business and more importantly from customs and cross-border regulatory perspective. Colleagues, we are living in a very extraordinary, challenging times, and a lot of vulnerabilities in the supply chain we have seen, both from supply side as well as demand side. Particularly during the past 2 years, when things were upended due to COVID-19. But at the same time, this is very interesting time offering several new opportunities, which were perhaps not available or were not well recognized. And in particular, this morning, I want to call out for 4 more important development, which I see is really going to drive our professional path going forward. Also in the context of the international supply chain. So first and foremost is the digitalization, rapid deployment taking place in the business environment, in the international supply chain, and in the government regulatory processes. Secondly, the enormous amount of data that's being generated on each day. And more importantly, data was always there, but perhaps it was not easily accessible. It was more in the physical form. So data being available in the electronic and digital form, that is the value. But the question is how we leverage that value. And third thing, which is I see the key theme for this morning session, is the e-commerce. E-commerce is rapidly growing, and during the pandemic, it has taken it another level in terms of growth. When the traditional trade and the supply chains were disrupted, it was e-commerce that was driving forward the movement of goods within the country and across borders. And finally, the fourth development, which I see very great opportunity for all of us, is the cutting edge technologies, like the one which mentioned this morning, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and blockchain. So we are really living in a very data-rich environment, and driven by modern technologies, we are rapidly moving from atom to bit era, with phone in every pocket, with everyone connected through internet. This ever increasing digitalization is really offering huge opportunities. And the data that is being generated, I can just give one estimate. Every 2 days, we create as much data as we did from the startup time until 2013. This is just one estimate. And you see, number of social media messages, the number of packages that is being shipped. For example, Amazon ships every day over every minute over 7,000 packages. There are like more than 150,000 Facebook messages, YouTube videos, Instagram, and all of that happening in the electronic environment, and that data is available. While we are getting accustomed to this amazing growth and availability of the data and its potential, we need to establish and enhance our capacity and develop business processes and mechanisms in order to manage and derive value from the deluge of the data that is available in the supply chain and in general in the customs and regulatory environment. In order to increase the efficiency of the supply chain while managing some of the associated risks. And customs and other government agencies, including our partner stakeholders, can tap into various data sources, and including open source information, leverage the modern technologies, and improve their business processes for enhancing the efficiency and resilience of the supply chain. To that end, Indian Customs, and I can proudly say, we have made big strides. I think something was indicated by Mr. Thakur also. We were one of the early departments to implement EDI at the national level. But today, talking about data and the data analytics and some of the modern technologies, we have created various databases and provided access and integrated them. So making that data available in order to derive value out of it on a day-to-day operations. We have, of course, customs clearance data. We are also having wealth of information available in the supply chain through GST data. E-waybill data is now available. Advait, we have developed one data analytics platform called Advait that is providing a lot of insight into the data, the valuation data, the offense data, which was lying in silos. number of cases, as you know, being detected almost on a daily basis. And then we also started connecting and collaborating with our partner government agencies, be it the income tax department or animal quarantine, food and safety, plant quarantine, uh, wildlife crime bureau, textile committee, all of that, because DGFT, of course, more prominently, they have a direct role in the management of international and domestic supply chains. So to use this data revolution in spotting new and emerging trend in terms of the risk on a real-time basis. This is what we are doing at my center, that is National Customs Targeting Center, and we deploy a whole host of technologies to leverage that data, various databases. Now, I was asked to present a few slides. What I would do is just to showcase a few use cases, particularly in the context of e-commerce and overall supply chain management. So just allow me to share some slides here for. Can you see these slides? Are you able to see?
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
So talking about e-commerce, and the theme of the session is how to solve the problems of the supply chain. This is a problem statement in a typical e-commerce supply chain, which is increasing. And this is equally applicable in the Indian context. Our challenge is that with the tsunami of parcels coming through courier, express services, and post, how we manage the speed and efficiency. Consumer, which we are all buying goods, if not selling through e-commerce at least, we want immediate delivery of goods. Our consumers, our customers are getting impatient. From the customs and border regulatory point of view, we have to ensure that efficiency. A container, full load container having, let's say, 50,000 pieces of laptops, is now fragmented into 50,000 individualized parcels. So we are talking about 50,000 importers, 50,000 suppliers, and as opposed to one importer and shipper that we were dealing with in the past. Now we are talking about 50,000 set of documents. At the same time, we have to also manage the risk, because in the past, in the traditional supply chain, which is still running, of course, you knew broadly who are the people who in the supply chain, big importers, exporters, overseas suppliers. But today, every individual, every citizen can be your importer. So to manage the risk, and also we have to understand the level of their understanding about the supply chain and the regulatory processes. So data quality issues. And yet to ensure that the parcel reaches to their doorstep, well, as soon as possible. We are talking about 24 hours, 48 hours, end-to-end delivery. That's the supply chain efficiency we are talking about. So we have to manage all of the risks, including security, safety, revenue risk, but at the same time, enhance the facilitation. Fair and revenue collection is another area, as opposed to collecting revenue on bulk shipment, collecting revenue on a small shipments. And more importantly, please bear in mind, when an individual places an order in the e-commerce environment, he or she expect that the price given on the web platform or e-vendors platform is the final price. Often there are challenges and they get surprised. We see day-to-day disputes about who will pay the duties and taxes. And why should I pay? I paid everything, whatever I had to pay at the time of placing the order. So those challenges are there. The challenges in terms of the classification, I don't want to go in more technical issues. If we had a whole army of custom brokers and intermediaries helping the big businesses and the traditional supply chain, put yourself as an individual when you're placing, how you know that mobile phone under what chapter heading needs to be classified, what is the version? You don't know. You are placing order to a platform. They might be procuring goods from X country, and actually the goods might have been manufactured in third country. So this is the complexity of the supply chain we're talking about. And then we also noted that the e-commerce supply chain, and with all its benefits, which has really provided immense opportunities to our SMEs, individuals, and consumers in terms of connecting to the global supply chain. but it is also bringing up a lot of opportunities for unscrupulous elements, illicit trade, drug trafficking, uh, IPR infringed goods, illicit financial flows, all of that we see it on a day-to-day basis. So we have to manage that as well. Now, how technology can help in that? Obviously, it's complex architecture. There are multiple stakeholders, and that's where technologies like blockchain, as it was indicated in the opening session, provides and takes away the fear of unknown, provides trust amongst unknown people, individuals, and stakeholders. It provides the provenance of the data, the traceability, the consensus approach. So all of that, if we see there are a number of players connected in the supply chain, if they all come on board and they start populating their data and everyone having equal visibility, clearly it has a huge assurance. Today, we are getting data in silos from different stakeholders. You you have one set of information with the e-platform, and that set of information perhaps going to logistics operator. Those are your express services and postal operator, and maybe a third set of information which is actually being fed into custom declaration system. We do not have the ability to leverage all of the data, and there are inconsistencies and gaps, some uh, unknowingly and some deliberately, which is having a huge risk in the supply chain, and also then adding cost and time to that. And so blockchain clearly offers a solution having that visibility and much early in the supply chain. Today, I don't know until a declaration is filed what is coming to the country. We are trying for advanced electronic information. We are trying for prior filing of the bills, but in the courier environment, at least it is still not happening. So many times, and my colleagues will perhaps give more details on that. It even only after the parcel has landed, the declaration is filed, and that takes time for clearance. At the same time, as I indicated earlier on, the huge data, and particularly in the e-commerce environment, the electronic data that is available at our disposal, how we can utilize that data. And that's where the AI/ML comes and provides a lot of opportunities to utilize that data, and that helps if there is no risk. Yes, why not? The cargo or the parcel can be cleared instantly. It's more effective, more cost effective. We can take better and timely, quick decisions. And wherever there are risks, and we do predictive modeling using ML, and I'll demonstrate in a while. That helps us to know which shipment is risky and which is not. So this is just one use case which we are already implemented in our risk management environment. We have codified all of the data, all of the suppliers, all of buyers, importers, all descriptions, though it was very challenging because the data quality, at least when it comes to description of the goods, is not very good. Often people would not know gift. And gift does not have any meaning to us. It could be $1 pen to $1 million diamond ring. So household goods, it does not have any meaning to me, but we made a lot of effort, piecing through the unstructured data. We codified majority of them. And today, based on the codification of all of the data and utilizing machine learning, utilizing the database, historical database, we are able to identify any anomaly or gap in a real-time basis, if it is with regard to classification of the goods, comparing with the identical goods in the past, valuation of the goods, levy of custom duty, IGST, anti-dumping, whatever it is. And this is all happening in a real-time environment through machine learning. There's absolutely no human intervention. Moving on to more specific e-commerce environment, what we noted, there are new actors. We are not used to some of those new actors that have joined in the supply chain. Custom and some of the other regulatory agencies in the supply chain, they never dealt with. We have e-platform. We are talking about cross-border, they are overseas. We have never dealt with them. So how to connect and get the data from those new actors? This is what we have been trying. If you take the example of e-platform, clearly they have we are looking at three kinds of data: order data, payment data, and shipping data. Order data is available the moment any customer, any buyer, including all of us, checks out the order at the e-platform. Payment data is also there because you have already paid for that. Shipping data is that next step when the platform or the supplier vendor connects with one of the logistics supplier. It could be express service, postal operator. So our approach is that how we can get the data as early as possible in the supply chain. And if all of these stakeholders are connected on blockchain, then this data, they don't have to necessarily push for it. We don't have to go and individually have agreement or some set up connecting platform or APIs to pull the data. This data is instantly available. There are pilots going on, including in Korea, where the moment e-commerce order is placed, the order data itself gets converted into the custom declaration data. There's no need for someone to file under declaration. And the advantages we see, all the stakeholders are on the platform, are pushing the data to custom and other government agencies. Efficient facilitation of all legitimate shipment, no need for any intervention. Through smart contracts, they can be instantly cleared without involving any custom officer or any FSSI or any other officer. Efficient and of course effective risk management, we are able to pin down to precise risk. Efficient revenue collection, so we can also have algorithm running to collect the duties and taxes, mapping with our tariff and the rate of duty, and improved compliance. Now, moving on to just rushing in the interest of time. Sorry. Yeah. So one of the things we also do network analysis and using ML techniques in the e-commerce environment. And just to give you one case, the misuse of KYC, my Aadhaar card being used by for getting goods through e-commerce through courier, and that is clearly not acceptable.